welcome back to Born in a Barn. Thanks for joining us. Today's episode is all about cropping. Now, I got back to the farm in August, and so we don't have footage from the whole season, and I was also doing music things in between, so we don't have very much footage of combining, etc. So we're piecing it together here, but Seth gives you a great overview of the cropping season, and so enjoy that. The next episode will be out in a week or two, and it's the episode when I relearn how to drive a tractor. So please come back for that. As always, feel free to share these with your friends and family who may want to know more about farming, and feel free to drop comments in the YouTube comment section especially, and if you have questions, let us know there also. Thanks.
So we're moldboard plowing here, which means we're taking sod and we're turning it all the way over so that the dirt's up. And then this was plowed in the fall here, so in the spring then this ground will be all mellowed out and we can just disc it down and dig it, and then we'll plant into it. This will be corn.
Cool, and there's other types of plowing?
Yep, chisel plowing, which we do after we take corn stalks off or chop corn, and that's just a faster way to plow, I guess. It doesn't roll as much dirt over as what the moldboard does.
Gotcha.
And then this here, Dad is cutting second crop of new seeding, but it's the same machine for cutting all of our hay, and he's just rolling along here.
So this is alfalfa, right?
Yeah, alfalfa and oats, but it's regrowth of oats.
Cool. And how many times so you say second crop, what does that mean?
So this was new seeding in the spring. This was just planted in the spring. And so we combined the oats off of this and made straw. And then there's alfalfa underneath the oats. We just use the oats for a nurse crop. And then when we take the oats off, the alfalfa comes back and we harvest that for the heifers. And this one, we didn't get to combine very much of it because it blew down. So the oats grew back a lot, so the heifers will get to eat this. So on the rest of the hay, we try to get 3 crops every year, sometimes 4. So if it's not new seeding, it comes up earlier in the spring, and just because it's already established from last year.
Okay.
So here we're raking grass hay together, and all we're doing is putting more windrows together to make one bigger windrow, because this will get baled. And then the baler makes better bales if you have a bigger windrow, and it just goes faster for the baler.
So there's a period of time where between mowing hay and raking, you want to let it dry a bit on its own?
We usually we cut it in the morning one day and then let it sit all day, and then the next morning, once the dew is off, we can start raking and get baling for baleage. If we're trying to make dry hay, then you gotta let it sit for at least 2 days, and then you can usually start in on it.
Now, we don't have any clips of making square bales. You want to talk a little bit about that?
So, yeah, Clara wasn't home yet when we were doing little square bales.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where the majority of our dry hay comes from. So it sounds simple, but the weather does not cooperate. You cut the hay down, and then you rake it after it sits for at least one full day after you cut it, and then if the next day is sunny, you can rake it once the dew's off, and then usually later afternoon you can bale it. But so all the little square bales that we get go to the calves. So now we're into chopping, which is the majority of our feed. And what you just saw was our fast hitches, and we got those so that we don't have to get on and off the tractor to hook up the wagons, because we go through so many loads of haylage that it would be a long day hooking and unhooking. But so pretty much this is, trying to remember, I think we raked this. I think this was third crop. And so pretty much we cut this the day before and raked it right away in the morning. And I can see this is a little drier because there's dust rolling out of it. And what the chopper does is it picks up the windrow and then it runs it through a set of knives, and it turns it into 1 inch to 1.5 inches long chunks of alfalfa, and then it blows it into the wagon. So pretty much that just processes the alfalfa into haylage. now once we've chopped the haylage and it's in the box, I pull it back to here we're filling Dad's silo, and we pull the wagon back from the field, and then we start unloading it into the blower, and then it goes up in the silo, and this one has a distributor on it, so when the haylage is going up, it levels it off for us already. And the key to this is not to plug the blower, because then you get upset and it takes time to unplug it. And this is probably the most boring job on the farm. You just kind of sit there and watch haylage fall into the blower. So.
And as the youngin, Seth got stuck with this job all summer.
Yep. But it's okay. Somebody's got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the inside of my silo. This is a different silo than what we were filling, but it's the same idea. And this is corn silage in here. So that's what it looks like on the inside of there before I leveled it. So, and this is a picture of us trying to fix the baler, and that's just one of the few breakdowns we had over the summer. And then this is Dad's running the round baler. Pretty much it just sucks the hay in through the pickup and turns it around in the baler, and then when the bale's up to size, he'll spin a net wrap on it, and then he'll dump it out. So this doesn't really process the hay, it just kind of takes the long stem hay and rolls it up into a bale. Doesn't make the hay any smaller than what it is in the field. And then this is Tim going to pick up the round bales, and we just back in with the tractor and the spear and pick it up and haul it back. We have a bale cart. I don't know if we have any footage of that or not, but we can set 6 bales on the cart and haul them back 6 at a time instead of 1 at a time. So once we move the bales in, then the next process starts on making balage. This is our cousin Cal. He brings his wrapper down, and you pick the bale up with the skid steer, and you set it in the wrapper, and then it starts pushing the bale forward, and then when it gets far enough that it's moving the bales, the wrap starts. So there's 2 rolls of white plastic, and you just let the machine run the plastic around the bale until you're got everything covered. And this here, we like 7 layers of plastic on, and when the roll runs out, the machine should get stopped, but sometimes we miss it. Luckily there's 2 rolls, so then you won't have a blank spot on the bale. And then this here is, they're gonna test the moisture on the corn silage, and so they just went out into the field and cut a few stalks down, and they're running it through the hay head, and then we can take it and get moisture checked. So here we're doing the first bag of corn silage on the ear, and pretty much it's like unloading into a blower, but you could go faster. All it does is once it comes out of the wagon, it goes up the elevator into the bagger, and there's knives sort of in the bagger that push the corn silage into the white bag, and then that packs it tight so that there's hopefully very little air in it, and then we seal the bag up and it'll ferment.
And now this winter, this is how we feed the older heifers and the cows especially.
Yep. And then this is a picture of the neighbor's combine with the bean head on it. We don't grow any beans, but it's same machine that combines our corn. And right now you see I'm on top of the grain bin, and I was plugging the distributor for the grain bin in so that it spreads the corn out over the whole bin.
Yeah, so the combining is at the end of the cropping season, basically, and that's what separates the corn that you'll end up grinding for the feed, which we talked about in an earlier episode.
Yep, it separates the kernels from the cob and the cob off of the stalk and stuff. So then we'll make these stacks that you're seeing out of the stalks.